Okay, so I knew Sneako worshipped Daddy Tate like Andrew birthed the cucked little man-child himself, but besides suckling off the teat of the big hairless baby, I didn't realize how ungodly stupid Sneako really is. It was only recently going down a rabbit hole of his time on social media that I really grasped how desperately he clings to being defined as his own special little alpha Chad. I was kind of torn about what could possibly create such a broken individual, and I say individual because calling him a boy or even a man feels wrong. He's not really much of anything other than a parasite. Some people believe he's jumping from one opinion to the next, looking for someone to be his next daddy, and I won't argue that point. It's a very fair assumption, and it's more than likely the truth behind it all, but I have my own opinion on that matter. Now, I want to preface that this is probably not an original thought. I haven't really watched every creator's video on Sneako, and I don't think I can because seeing his stupid face is beyond infuriating. For anyone who doesn't know, Sneako is the type of individual that suckles, fantasizes, and faps off to the dream of being someone better than himself, but in doing so, he becomes someone that could be considered below me. Well, maybe not below me, but the average person at least. He wants to be his own little Andrew Tate that everyone idolizes, where young impressionable idiots like himself are invited onto his podcast to talk about how much they enjoy groping him off camera. The only problem is that his opinions aren't his own. I don't think he's capable of creating an original thought, at least not since Daddy Tate entered the picture. And even if any of these were an OG sneaky Poo Proclamation, they're all so unbelievably stupid that he could never pull an audience larger than his IQ. Don't get me wrong, I do believe a lot of people here are equally as weak-willed and much more susceptible to following fish face here up whatever stupid tree he chooses to throw himself off of, but these opinions are so niche and he flips on them so quickly that he couldn't possibly draw an audience, even with his hypnotically egg-shaped head and luscious lips. He's slowly breaking into a lobotomist's wet dream level of insanity because he never considered how much his ego outweighed his struggle to have the most unpopular popular opinion. Does that even make sense to anyone? And his audience isn't as weak-willed as he'd hoped they'd be. They're turning on him for his inability to stick to a narrative, and it's making him a tired meme at this point. I don't actually see any recourse, and probably for the best. He isn't willing to give up being the next Mr. Beast or Andrew Tate. I'm sorry, Jimmy. I know you don't deserve to be stuck in the same sentence as Andrew Tate, but Andrew's his own can of worms, and I'll probably discuss him in a separate video. To give my final thoughts on this caricature of the human embodiment of narcissism with an unhealthy amount of cope sprinkled on top, I think that he's going to continue to venture into other ideologies, as long as they stand out from the norm. People will continue to hate watch him, and although his audience will never grow apart from the small spikes when videos like these are made by much bigger creators, or when he chooses to do something really stupid, he will consistently find work on various platforms peddling his bullshit, and although most will watch out of necessity, not unlike staring at the remains of a recent car crash. Even though his comments will be overloaded with hate and bullying, he will continue to cling to the belief that at least one of them is a dedicated fan. Hey, a big shout out to my channel artist. He does fantastically colorful thumbnails and designs for my channel. His links are going to be in the descriptions if you want to check him out. Don't forget to like and share the videos. Subscribe to help me reach my first big goal of 1,000 subs, especially if you enjoyed the video. Feel free to stick around and binge more of my content if you've got the time. And until next week, be well.